Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to give you guys some tips for the battle and also introduce some important things you might not know. Without further ado, let's get started. First of all, let's get familiar with the interface. Skills are placed at the bottom left. The red bar here indicates the cast time, and green bar indicates the cooldown time, which starts after the cast time ends. We can also see this element chart here to know which element is stronger against which element. This yellow target marker above the enemies indicates which enemy we are targeting. We can change the target by clicking on this marker or the Change Target button. Camera and chat settings can be changed at the bottom right. A message appears at the top left side when someone uses a skill, and below that, we can see effects of job chain. Each job has its own unique chain. Status effects appear below the HP bar of the enemies and the players. If we click on this Friends tab here, we can see the status effects of players in more detail. We can look here when we are confused about the status icons. Last thing is the log. We can find it in the chat by enabling the system setting. It updates real-time in the battle, and we can see details of what happened. We can also filter out the things we don't want to see in the log settings. Speaking of the settings, we can also switch off the animations in the drawing settings. I recommend turning off the allies animations. Moving on to the important things. First one is the critical hit. Unless we have something like Strike Earring which guarantees critical hit, we need to do the critical hit manually. We need to look at the position of the target cursor. Critical hit will only happen when this cursor is at the bottom, when we use the skill. This cursor moves at different speed for each weapon regardless of the job. Two-hand weapons have more slower rate than the one-hand weapons. Next is the skill locking. When we use a skill, and it's on the cooldown period, one skill which is not on the front deck is already selected to replace this skill when the cooldown ends. For example, let's assume that two of my skills have long CD. When they are used, two skills from back deck are already reserved for these two slots. Third slot will keep cycling through the remaining two skills, while the other slots are on CD. Also, the skills are not as random as we think. I believe this number here has something to do with which skill comes up next, though I don't know how exactly, and we don't really need to worry much about this anyway. Locking the skills can be useful in some situations. For example, when doing 3 optimize consecutively as an initiator. Also, be careful as Debuffer Saint. Discourage might get locked behind the healing skill. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next time.